You're listening to All Things Sports with Mike Davis.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Glad you can join me on another podcast of All Things Sports with Mike Davis. I thank you for including my podcast into your day. If you're listening on Spotify, do yourself a favor, follow the podcast. If you're on the YouTube side of things, subscribe, comment, like, all that good stuff. Go to the social media links in the description box to get in contact with the show for comments or suggestions. I won't take up more of your time. Let's get into it. Happy Monday, guys. Wow. Back at it again. Beginning of the week. Hey, look, I got a great show for you guys today. Did you guys see the NFL schedule that was released? How does the schedule look for your team? So let me know about that. But before I get into that, tell you guys a little bit about who I am. If you are new to the podcast, I am Mike Davis, host of the podcast, of course. As I always claim, I'm not this sports guru, sports expert. Hey, look, I'm just a regular guy that works an everyday job, lives a regular life, that enjoys sports as much as the next man. I love talking about it. I love debating it. And, here we are. So, don't take everything I say so seriously, Also, again, if you're new to the podcast, I try and put a podcast out. I'm on the Monday through Friday schedule right now. We'll see how that works out, but let's get down to it. As I said, continue on with the monologue. NFL schedule was recently released. How did your team do? Do you think your team has a fairly easy schedule? My Falcons, we have a pretty decent schedule. It's not a rough schedule. It's not anything brutal, I don't believe. But are any of you planning on traveling to some of these NFL games? I always say I'm going to go to a handful of NFL games. And I really don't end up going. I end up going to more baseball and basketball games. Football, on the other hand, I love football like the next man. I'll watch football all day. The thing is about going to the games, though, it's an all-day event. If you've never been tailgating before, you're pretty much at the stadium at 8 o'clock in the morning. That's roughly, 4 hours before 4 or 5 hours before the, kickoff, depending on where you're at in the country. Here on the East Coast, we don't kick off until 1 o'clock. So, you're there at the stadium at 8 o'clock in the morning setting things up, and you might have people in certain places that's there before that. Maybe like Green Bay, maybe people in Buffalo. And I mentioned Buffalo because that's one of the places I do want to go to. I do plan on attending the Bills-Falcons game. Look, Buffalo is one of those places where, what am I going to do in Buffalo, New York? And I told my girlfriend about it. She wants to go. She would like to celebrate New Year's in New York City, and Buffalo, I believe, is maybe 4 or 5 hours from New York City. So New Year's falls on Saturday this year, I believe, and the game is on Sunday. So that's an easy drive up to Buffalo from New York. So what are some of the games that's on your team schedule that you're thinking about going to? I already have 3 games that I definitely know I'm going to. Whenever my Falcons go down and play my dad's Miami Dolphins, I will go. Well, trying to start now and go. But we went to a preseason game last year. My Falcons played down there this year in the regular season. And this time it counts. It's for real. So I'll be down there, watch my Falcons play my dad's Dolphins. And the Dallas Cowboys. I have been to Jerry's World before. I think it's the best NFL stadium in the league. And I am going to watch my Falcons this year. See if they blow another game in Dallas the way they did last season. Excuse me. So, again, let me know. How did your team fare with the NFL schedule release? Do you like the schedule? Do you not like your team's schedule? Let me know. Hey, look, like I said, I got a great podcast for you guys today. Let's go ahead and jump into it. We're going to talk about Tim Tebow. Now, it seems that he is coming back to the NFL. Now, after a 6-year hiatus, the Jaguars plan to sign the former NFL quarterback to a 1-year deal to play tight end. Now, Tebow, who is 33, recently worked out for the Jaguars, and head coach Urban Meyer, who coached Tebow during his record-setting run at Florida. Now, the former Heisman Trophy winner Tebow went 9-7 as the Broncos starting quarterback before spending 1 season with the New York Jets, then nearly 5 years in the New York Mets minor league system. Now, Tebow, a 2-time national champion with the Florida Gators, he completed just 47% of his passes in 2 seasons with the Broncos in 11 of regular season starts. Now, during the 2011 season, Tebow threw twice as many touchdowns as interceptions. Now, despite completing just 46% of his throws after helping the Broncos capture the AFC West Division title, Tebow threw the game-winning touchdown pass in Denver's upset victory over the Pittsburgh Steelers in the wild card round. Now, I remember that game, and I couldn't believe Tim Tebow had won a playoff game. I remember that game like it was yesterday. All right, now, after that wild card game, though, Tebow's next game was a blowout loss to the Patriots in the divisional round, and that would be his final start at quarterback for an NFL team. Now, I saw that former running back Fred Taylor, he had this to say about Tebow. He went on to say that I don't think Tim got a complete fair shot because most of the coaches were saying that we need a prototypical NFL quarterback. Now, Fred Taylor went on to say this on the All Things cover with Patrick Peterson and Bryant McFadden. And I got to say, I agree. I thought the Jets really didn't give him a chance. And I believe the Broncos ended up letting Tebow go because that's when that when Peyton Manning came in? I believe that's when Manning came in. So they let him go. They traded him, I believe, to the Jets. And I agree with him. I don't think the Jets really gave him a fair chance. Now, some people, they don't agree with it. I don't know if you've seen, but Devin Bush Jr., son of Devin Bush Sr., who played for my Falcons in the 90s, said this. He said that Tebow got a job before Kaepernick. Wait till we play Jacksonville. Ryan Clark of ESPN also called out Urban Meyer. And look, here's my opinion, my personal opinion on the whole Tim Tebow thing. Here's what I think. Is there some privilege? Yes, absolutely. Look, that's life. Kids are former athletes. They get privileges. I just mentioned, look at Devin Bush Jr. You know, his dad played in the NFL for the Falcons. He's going to get privileges that I'm not able to get. Or even when I was his age, I wasn't able to get. Look, it's nothing that I can do about it. There's nothing no one can do about it. Look, if I ever come into a boatload of money, guess what? My kids, they're going to have privileges that most kids won't be afforded. Look, it's life. We deal with it. Now, did Tebow get a fair shot when he originally played? No, I don't think he did. I think he was a guy that you're going to have to groom into playing quarterback. You know, he wasn't quarterback ready. But look, let's be real. The year he played, he was a starter in Denver. Don't get me wrong now. Don't get me wrong. I've seen worse quarterback play, okay? He wasn't great by any means or any stretch of the imagination. I mean, I don't even know if you can say he was borderline average. You know, maybe below average. But I do think that he should have gotten another season, you know, to show that he improved off of his playoff season with the Broncos. We didn't get to see that, and so I don't think he really got a fair shot originally. Now, is he better than Colin Kaepernick at this point in their life? Look, I have no idea, but, because there's always a but, if I had to pick one, I would pick Kaepernick. And that's just based on what I've seen with the body of work. I've seen what Kaepernick can do a quarterback already. Now, his last season in San Francisco was atrocious. A lot of that really was not his fault. I know that you look at his stats, people love pointing that out. I see where his games where he's had like 4 completions, some nonsense like that. Everything that went down that last year in San Francisco was not his fault. But like I said, at this point, if I had to, I would pick Kaepernick just based on the body of work, because I've seen Kaepernick take a team to a Super Bowl. Now, look, excuse me. I think that this Jaguars team won't improve at all. I'm not high on them. I'm not big on Trevor Lawrence playing for Urban Meyer. Well, look, I guess I should say that I'm not big on Urban Meyer. Look, I've never been big on college coaches coming into the NFL. They fail more times than not. And there's the whistle right there. All right, so before I get out of this, look, I don't believe in their owner also. Now, most improvements with any company, okay, start at the top. Now, since, and I hope I don't mispronounce his name, the owner of the Jaguars, Shahid Khan, since he bought the team in 2012, the Jaguars have had a losing season every year except for 2017. I think that he pushes a lot of the wrong buttons, and I'm just going to leave that there. This day in sports, May 17th, 1998, New York pitcher David Wells tosses a perfect game and a 4-0 win against the Minnesota Twins at Yankee Stadium in New York. You know, I might be one of the few people. I love watching a perfect game. I'll go on YouTube and watch some of the old perfect games. Like I watched Randy Johnson throw a perfect game against my Braves. And did anyone see the perfect game? Or was it a perfect game or a no-hit? I believe it was a perfect game that got taken away from the pitcher Galarraga in Detroit. It should have been a called out. They didn't get the guy at first base in the top of the ninth, and the ref completely blew the call. And I think the next day Galarraga came out and exchanged a line of cards with the ump. I would have been pissed. I couldn't have done it, but a perfect game, that is something that is hard to do. Whether it doesn't matter what level you are in baseball. That is one of the hardest things to do, to throw a perfect game. Hey, look, that's all I got for you today, folks. I thank you for including my podcast on your Monday. Thanks for starting the week off with me. Look, if you're listening on Spotify, do yourself a favor. Follow the podcast. If you're on the YouTube side of things, subscribe, comment, like, all that good stuff. Go to the social media links in the description box to get in contact with the show for comments or suggestions. You've been listening to All Things Sports with Mike Davis. And remember, it's your world. I'm just giving my opinion. I'm out. Peace.
You're listening to All Things Sports with Mike Davis.